If you have been wondering why life feels like a constant fight, why progress keeps slipping from your hands, and why enemies seem to celebrate while you suffer, let me tell you the truth. Nothing in this life is ordinary. Curses are real, witchcraft is real, and evil projections are real. What many do not know is that there are simple yet powerful answers hidden in plain sight. Remedies that look too ordinary to hold such explosive force. Today I will reveal one of them, and by the end of this message you will not see vinegar the same way again. For too long, innocent people have been carrying curses that were never meant for them. Some of you are walking around with chains your enemies secretly placed on your destiny. You wake up heavy. You dream of strange shadows. You lose money mysteriously. Relationships fall apart without reason, and doors that should open remain closed. This is not normal. These are arrows shot at you in the spirit. But the good news is that there is a way to make every one of those arrows return and destroy the sender. 2 days of fasting with vinegar is not an ordinary fast. It is a spiritual weapon that carries the bitterness of judgment and the heat of cleansing. Vinegar in the natural world tastes sour and bitter, but in the spiritual world it becomes a sword of justice. The moment you humble yourself before God and set aside 2 days with vinegar, you activate a back-to-sender force that makes your enemies swallow the very poison they prepared for you. Picture this. While you pray and fast, drinking and washing with vinegar, your enemies who once thought they had trapped you begin to choke on the curses they spoke. Their own words become their ruin. Their rituals turn into their torment. Because when vinegar is lifted in fasting, it does not allow evil to rest on your life. It sends it back to where it came from with double force. Many of you listening right now are tired of fighting in the flesh. You've tried arguing, you've tried explaining, you've tried running away, but enemies still find ways to drag you back into pain. That is because the battle is not physical, it is spiritual, and if you want real freedom, you must fight spiritually. Vinegar fasting for 2 days is one of the most potent back-to-sender strategies that enemies cannot stand against. This is why witches hate when believers uncover these hidden truths. They want you blind. They want you weak. They want you to think that nothing works, that your suffering is permanent. But the moment you rise up and say, "Enough is enough. I will fast with vinegar and I will pray," everything shifts. The curses begin to recoil. The bitterness returns to its owners and peace begins to come into your life. So listen closely. I will show you why vinegar is so spiritually strong, how 2 days of fasting can unlock deliverance, and I will lead you into declarations that will seal your freedom. Do not leave this message halfway. Stay with me until the end, because the prayer we will pray together will not only protect you, it will make your enemies confess and suffer their own curses without you ever lifting a hand against them. Vinegar has always carried a deeper meaning than most people realize. In earlier times, it was not only used for cooking, but for cleansing and preservation. Spiritually, vinegar stands for purification and bitterness returned. When you drink it during fasting, you are making a declaration in the spirit realm that every sweetness of witchcraft sent to deceive and trap you will be stripped away and exposed. It takes off the disguise from curses and forces them to reveal their true nature. And once exposed, they cannot remain on you. They return to sender. Fasting alone is already a powerful weapon in spiritual warfare. Even Jesus taught that there are battles, certain stubborn demons, that will leave only through fasting and prayer. But when you combine fasting with the bitterness of vinegar, you multiply the fire. Demons cannot stand it. Witchcraft cannot resist it. Curses that were gripping your destiny begin to burn under its acidity because vinegar represents divine fire that eats away everything demonic. Think about how vinegar feels in the mouth, sharp, sour, and bitter. Now translate that to the spiritual. That bitterness is exactly what your enemies begin to taste when their curses are reversed. What they thought would taste sweet in your ruin becomes bitterness in their own mouths. This is why fasting with vinegar does not just cleanse you. It torments your enemies spiritually, making them restless until they suffer what they meant for you. Every sip of diluted vinegar water during those 2 days is not just a physical act. It is a prophetic act. As it burns down your throat, you are spiritually declaring, I refuse every curse. I reject every covenant. I cancel every arrow, and I send it back to its owners. This simple but powerful action is what confuses witches, because they see that the weapons they formed against you are no longer landing. They are boomeranging back with greater force. Vinegar also carries the symbolism of humility. When you decide to fast with it, you are lowering yourself before God and saying, Lord, I deny myself to receive your power. Heaven always responds to humility. The angels of God notice sacrifice and they step into the battle on your behalf. 2 days may seem small in the physical, but in the spirit they carry enormous weight. In those 2 days your voice becomes fire and your presence becomes untouchable. This is why people who have fasted with vinegar often testify of sudden shifts. Suddenly the depression that was weighing them down lifts. Suddenly the business deals that were blocked open. Suddenly those who were cursing them begin to face confusion and trouble. It is not coincidence. It is the back-to-sender power of vinegar fasting at work. Understand this clearly. Vinegar fasting is not witchcraft. It is not revenge. It is divine alignment. It is a way of cleansing yourself from demonic contamination and standing under God's cover. You are not sending curses to anyone. You are simply refusing to carry what does not belong to you. And the law of God says, whoever digs a pit shall fall into it. That means your enemies automatically inherit what they released. The power of vinegar fasting is that it is both personal and spiritual. Personally, it trains your body and refocuses your heart on God. Spiritually, it destroys contracts, breaks arrows, and cancels covenants written in the Spirit. 2 days of such sacrifice will shake your surroundings, scatter your enemies, and make your destiny too hot for witchcraft to touch. One thing you must grasp is that curses obey laws. They don't just drift in the air without purpose. Every curse has an assignment, and if it cannot land on you, it must return to the sender. This is the mystery of back to sender. Vinegar fasting places you in such a position that curses cannot rest on your life. They bounce back automatically. Whoever planned your ruin ends up trapped in the same net they spread for you. There is a spiritual law that says whoever digs a pit will fall into it. That is not a suggestion. It is a law. And when you fast with vinegar, you are enforcing that law. Every pit dug for your marriage, every pit dug for your children, every pit dug for your money, every pit dug for your health becomes a grave for your enemies. They will fall into their own traps because you refuse to walk into them. Many of you have been dealing with generational battles, poverty, broken marriages, early deaths, constant failure. These are signs of curses operating within family lines. But when you fast with vinegar, you are declaring the cycle ends now. You cut yourself off from those ancient arrows and declare that you will not inherit what was never meant for you. And the blessing is that those curses don't just disappear into thin air. They go back to the demonic source that projected them. Have you ever noticed how sometimes people who curse you suddenly start to suffer strangely? They become anxious, their plans collapse, or they begin to confess. That is back to sender at work. It is not you fighting them. It is God's justice showing up. Vinegar fasting speeds up this process. It makes the bitterness of their own curse return to them quickly, leaving them little time to escape what they intended for you. Back to sender is not wickedness. It is justice. You are not plotting harm. You are refusing harm. And when you refuse it, it cannot hang in the air. It must return. This is why when you rise in prayer during vinegar fasting and declare every curse in my life back to sender, the heavens respond and the earth obeys. The curse begins its journey back to the sender, and they cannot hide from it. Think of vinegar as a mirror in the spirit. Whatever is sent to you reflects back. If they send poverty, it returns to them. If they send sickness, it lands on them. If they send confusion, it covers their days. You become untouchable because everything meant for you is being redirected. They can no longer laugh at your pain because they will be the ones crying under the weight of their own evil. This is why those who carry knowledge are feared. A person who knows how to fast with vinegar for 2 days is someone witches cannot handle. They may try once, but when their curses rebound and strike them, they learn to stay away. Because in the spirit world, those who walk with wisdom walk with power, and power makes you a dangerous target to the enemy. If you are ready to break the cycle, prepare yourself. The fast is strict and the spiritual atmosphere will intensify. Spend time in prayer, confess your need to the Lord, and ask for guidance as you begin. When you mix the vinegar water to drink, dilute it safely. Do not harm your body. The point is spiritual surrender and the prophetic action, not self-harm. Seek God's leading. And if you have health issues, be careful and ask a wise leader to advise you before starting. The aim is restoration and deliverance, not damage. Throughout the 2 days, keep your heart low before God. Confess what you know is wrong. Forgive where you can. Speak out loud the declarations of back to sender that we will give. As you do this, know that heaven is listening. Angels are assigned to those who humble themselves. The spiritual realm responds to obedience, truth, and humility. You are not acting in fear, you are acting in faith. The vinegar is an instrument to amplify your faith, and the prayer is the channel that releases God's justice. After the fast, stand firm. Expect signs. Expect trouble for those who plotted against you. Expect doors to open and relationships to mend, but also remain humble and grateful. Deliverance is a doorway to a new level of responsibility. Walk carefully, guard your heart, and continue to pray. Keep your faith steady. The enemy will try to come back stronger because he hates losing ground. So protect what God has given you by staying close to prayer, by walking in righteousness, and by refusing old patterns. Let this be the day you refuse to be a victim. Let this be the day you step into divine protection and witness those who planned your harm eat their own plot. 2 days of vinegar fasting is simple, but it is dangerous to those who work in darkness. When done right, it sets a chain reaction in motion. It breaks spells, it cancels assignments, and it forces confessions. It brings justice without revenge and purity without violence. You are not the avenger. God is the judge, and his ways are perfect. So if you have been oppressed, if your life has been delayed, if your family has suffered, consider this practice with wisdom and prayer. Make the vow, prepare your heart, and carry it out with the humility the Lord honors. Stand in faith and let the spiritual law of back to sender do its work. Refuse to wear what was not made for you. Decline to carry the evil others released. Return it without touching it, and watch how quickly the scales in your life begin to tip. Remember, the war is real, but so is the victory. When you take these 2 days and offer them up in fasting and prayer with vinegar, you are not acting in superstition. You are using a spiritual principle that aligns with God's justice. You are declaring that you will not be a casualty in someone's plan. You are saying, not my life, not my children, not my finances, not my health. And with that voice, the heavens move. The curse becomes the curse of the curser. The pit becomes the grave for the one who dug it. The bitterness returns where it came from. Rise up in faith and humility. Fast with vinegar for 2 days. Pray with a clear heart and watch as God does what only He can do. Walk out of that fast lighter, freer, and with your path cleared. Let the back to sender force work, and then live boldly, knowing that the same weapons designed to destroy you have been turned into the very means of your justice and restoration. They cannot afford to touch. Now let me show you how to practically fast with vinegar for 2 days so that you activate this mystery properly. Fasting is not about starving. It is about spiritual alignment. Vinegar is not about diet. It is about cleansing. So when you set aside those 2 days, you must approach it with seriousness, prayer, and faith. Start each morning with a prayer of rejection. Stand firm and declare that every curse spoken over your life will not land on you. After that, prepare a glass of warm water. Add 1 tablespoon of vinegar and drink it slowly as you continue praying. As it burns in your throat, see it in the spirit as bitterness returning to the one who sent it. Do this again in the evening before prayer. During those 2 days, keep yourself away from distractions. Turn off unnecessary entertainment. Avoid idle conversations and set your focus on God. Fasting is not only about what goes into your mouth, but also about what goes into your mind and spirit. Keep your environment holy and focused on deliverance. You can also wash your hands with diluted vinegar water once a day during this fast. As you do it, speak out, I wash away every evil covenant signed against my destiny. I break every curse assigned to my hands, my work, and my inheritance. This symbolic washing is powerful because hands are a point of contact for blessing, and witches often attack them through poverty and failure. Another step you can take is sprinkling a little diluted vinegar water at your doorway. As you do it, pray that no curse, no evil energy, and no watching spirit will be able to cross into your home. This is not about ritual, it is about faith. You are declaring that your house is untouchable and any curse projected must stop and bounce back. Spend time in worship and quiet reflection during this fast. Play worship music in your home. Read psalms and pray in tongues if you can. Your atmosphere matters. Demons cannot dwell where there is constant worship and prayer. Vinegar fasting combined with a spiritual atmosphere is like surrounding yourself with fire. Nothing unclean can survive it. By the end of the 2 days, you will begin to notice changes. Dreams will become clearer. Night attacks will stop. Heavy burdens will lift. A strange peace will settle in your heart, and opportunities that were blocked will begin to flow again. That is the evidence that curses have returned to sender. Do not treat this as an experiment. Do it with faith. Vinegar fasting is not about trying something new. It is about activating a weapon God already placed in creation. Once you do it with faith and prayer, the results will shock you, and your enemies will regret ever thinking they could curse you. Fasting with vinegar is not only about breaking curses, it is about awakening your spirit. When you humble yourself for 2 days in prayer and fasting, you begin to see life differently. You realize that the battles you were fighting were never mainly physical. Arguments, jealousy, rejection. These were only symptoms of deeper spiritual attacks. The awakening comes when you finally understand that you cannot win in the flesh. You must fight in the spirit. Many people waste their energy fighting humans. They argue with relatives, quarrel with co-workers, or cut off friends thinking that will bring peace. But peace never comes because the real enemy is not flesh and blood. The real enemy is spiritual. Vinegar fasting helps you to redirect your focus from people to the powers behind them. Once you address the spirit, the people lose their influence over you. Another powerful awakening is discipline. If you can deny yourself food and comfort for 2 days to focus on prayer, you begin to master your flesh. And when the flesh is weakened, the spirit rises stronger. Discipline in fasting makes your declaration sharper, your discernment clearer, and your authority in the spirit undeniable. That is why witches cannot withstand a believer who knows how to fast and pray. Reflection during these 2 days is also crucial. Take time to ask yourself, what curses have I been carrying that do not belong to me? What repeated patterns in my family have I accepted as normal? Why have I allowed myself to live small when God created me for greatness? These questions open your eyes and push you to break chains you once thought were unbreakable. Spiritual awakening means you stop living blind. You stop thinking life is random. You begin to notice that delays, sickness, and sudden losses are not ordinary. You begin to see the fingerprints of witchcraft, the manipulation of curses, and the strategies of enemies. This awareness does not bring fear. It brings authority, because once you see clearly, you know how to fight. And when you awaken, you rise above the attacks. You stop reacting like a victim and start standing like a warrior. Vinegar fasting is not only cleansing your body and spirit, it is sharpening your inner eyes to see beyond the physical. And once you can see, no enemy can ever take you by surprise again. Now it is time to stop listening and start declaring. Open your mouth with boldness, because life and death are in the power of the tongue. Say it with authority. Every curse spoken against me, I reject you. I refuse you, and I send you back to the sender right now in the name of Jesus. Declare this without fear. Every evil arrow released into my health, my finances, my family, my career backfires immediately. Return to your sender sevenfold. I refuse to carry what is not mine. The fire of God burns every curse off my life. Speak with conviction. Every evil eye watching me, I blind you now. Every tongue rising against me in judgment, I silence you forever. Every pit dug for me, let the digger fall into it today. I will not die in their trap. I will not suffer in their net. I will walk free in the name of the Lord. Continue boldly. Every evil altar raised against my name, catch fire now. Every incantation spoken against my destiny, scatter by fire. Every evil covenant signed over my life, I break you with the blood of Jesus. You will not prosper in my life. You will not succeed against me. Command this with force. As I fast with vinegar, I cleanse my spirit. I cleanse my body. I cleanse my environment. I reject evil agreements. I cancel demonic contracts. I erase every handwriting of curses placed on my name. Let the senders drink the vinegar of their own bitterness. Say this with finality. From this day forward, I am untouchable. I am covered. I am protected. No curse, no spell, no projection can land on me again. Every arrow that comes will backfire. Every trap set for me will collapse. My enemies will suffer their own curses, and I will rise in freedom and with power. I decree and declare my life is preserved. My household is preserved. My destiny is preserved. I am walking into peace, into prosperity, into victory. As I stand in this vinegar fast, let every evil power know that I am not their victim. I am a warrior, and I walk in divine authority. Child of God, you cannot sit back anymore while enemies plant curses against your destiny. You must rise and take action. Fasting with vinegar for 2 days is not an option. It is a weapon. Do it with faith. Do it with fire, and watch as the chains that held you begin to snap one by one. Do not think this message is for someone else. It is for you. You know the attacks you have faced. You know the silent tears you have cried. You know the battles that keep repeating in your life. This is your moment to break free. Do not postpone your deliverance. Rise up and fast. Let your enemies taste their own bitterness. Share this truth with your family. Too many households live under curses they did not create. Husbands are struggling, wives are oppressed, children are blocked because no one has stood up to say enough. Be the one who says enough. Lead your household into freedom by teaching them this mystery. Let the curse return to sender, not linger in your bloodline. Stay watchful and prayerful. The Bible says the enemy moves around like a roaring lion looking for whom to devour. He will not stop sending arrows. But when you know how to fight, you are always ready. Vinegar fasting is one of those weapons you can always run to when the battle gets hot. It will not fail you because it is grounded in spiritual law and divine justice. Support this message by spreading it far and wide. Too many people are suffering in silence because they do not know these secrets. Witches thrive on ignorance. When truth is hidden, they win. But when truth is revealed, their power collapses. Don't keep this to yourself. Share it, speak it, and stand bold as a warrior. This channel, Maya's Watchtower, exists to reveal the hidden truths that set people free. Here, we do not entertain, we equip. We do not play with darkness, we expose it. And when truth is revealed, freedom follows. Stand with this voice. Subscribe and join a family of people who are waking up and refusing to be victims. I thank you for watching. I thank you for praying. And I thank you for fighting this good fight of faith with me. Stay strong, stay prayerful, and stay armed with knowledge. This is Maya's Watchtower, revealing the truth that sets you free and destroys the plans of your enemies. Here we do not entertain, we equip. We do not play with darkness, we expose it. And when truth is revealed, freedom follows. Stand with this voice, subscribe, and join a family of people who are waking up and refusing to be victims. I thank you for watching. I thank you for praying. And I thank you for fighting this good fight of faith with me. Stay strong, stay prayerful, and stay armed with knowledge. This is Maya's Watchtower, revealing the truth that sets you free and destroys the plans of your enemies.